gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
And Atlanta police worked so quickly, making an arrest in the case in less than 24 hours. Channel 2's Dave Huddleston continues our live Team 2 coverage. Dave, you were actually out at the scene last night covering this as it was breaking. Tonight, you have more from Atlanta's mayor and also the police chief on solving this crime.
And Linda, they said loud and strongly, this case is not over. They are coming after anyone else who was involved in the tragic death of a 6-month-old.
A suspect is under arrest.
Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens making the announcement that Atlanta police, with the help of several different agencies, arrested 22-year-old Dequasie Little. These are just 3 of his mugshots from arrests in 2019 and 2021.
Wow. So, who would have guessed this guy had been arrested before and recently, 2019 and 2021. The Super Gremlin started with the baby dreads. He went through the ugly phase, and now he's actually kind of growing into the maturity phase of his dreads, but all of that will be cut short. I'm sure they might cut his hair in prison. That is if they keep him in prison. But what do we talk about these guys who reoffend and these guys who are let out for whatever reason, even though they've been arrested in a short span of time, okay, multiple times? It just doesn't make sense. And this is the bail reform. This is the prison reform that we've been talking about. This brother, it looks like, or the gremlin rather, it looks like he doesn't have a care in the world, okay? He got a mean mugshot, you dig?
Andre Dickens making the announcement that Atlanta police, with the help of several different agencies, arrested 22-year-old Dequasie Little. These are just 3.
Dequasie. Dequasie. That is different.
3 of his mugshots from arrests in 2019 and 2021. Chief Rodney Bryant said Dequasie Little is responsible for 6-month-old Grayson Matthew's death.
He's disrupted that entire family for generations, and his own as well.
Bryant wouldn't go into details about their arrest, but said Little was caught in DeKalb County. They got a lot of help from the community, the Georgia State Patrol, and the U.S. Marshal's Office, as well as the Fulton County DA. District Attorney Fonnie Willis says the violence ends now.
So this is what happens when you get help from the community, right? This is what happens when you get help from the community. 24 hours, they make an arrest. Unfortunately, the young baby boy, Grayson Matthew, was killed. It's a tragedy, man. And Dequasie, hopefully Dequasie spends the rest of his life in prison for this. But, you know, maybe in about 20, 25 years, Kylie Jenner will try and get him out of his arrest. You know, say it was a racist cop, or I don't know, Andre Dickens sick the dogs on him. Whatever excuse they can make to not be held accountable for the poor decisions that, like the commentator said, or the news anchor said, ruins multiple lives, even their own.
From yesterday when this happened until now, until this case is done in a court of law, we are working together hand in hand to make sure that incidents like this do not occur, and when they do occur, that people are brought to justice.
We were right there Monday when the chief and Mayor Dickens spoke with Grayson's mother and father, offering support and condolences.
What can you say to a mother that's lost a child? To nonsense. To nonsense.
Chief Bryant says this case is not over.
We are still early in this investigation, And anybody who think they will commit violence in our city, we coming at you with everything we got.
Man, that's refreshing to hear. Obviously, when Keisha Lance Bottoms was in office, I don't think these officers really had the ability to really say what was on their mind and say it with their chest. But now I think these officers in the A have a little swag about them. They're getting their swag back. They're getting their support back. And maybe Andre is the real deal. He's starting to show up to some of these crime scenes. But he's going to be busy throughout the year if he's going to make this a regular thing and show up to these crime scenes, because this is only the beginning of Super Gremlins on Demon Time.
All three city leaders said the cycle of violence has got to stop, and they talked about programs, prayers, and tough action they plan to take to make sure that happens. That part of the story is our focus on WSB Tonight at 11.
Programs and prayer. And y'all know, I'm a God-fearing man, but we see that the programs are not working. And faith without works is dead. So unless you guys plan to lock these criminals up, just like Dequasie should have been locked up in 2019, in 2020, and in 2021, or 2021. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Unless y'all gonna lock these dudes up, then all that means nothing.
Reporting live from police headquarters, Dave Huddleston, Channel 2 Action News.
And if you are watching this and you think you know anything about this case, please call Crime Stoppers of Greater Atlanta. The number right there on your screen, 404-577-8477. You can be completely anonymous.
New coverage tonight tackling the violence affecting our children. We start with Channel 2's Michael Seiden, who found out more, Michael, about the suspect's troubled past.
Yeah, George, as you mentioned, in the last 30 minutes, actually got an email from a spokesperson here at the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. They sent me this new mugshot. He was booked into jail around 10:30. We were told he will face a judge tomorrow morning, 11:30. More on that in a moment. But what we are learning is this 22-year-old, he has a violent history. In fact, his criminal history stretches all the way back to when he was 17 years old. That's when you're considered an adult in.
Wow, so he was probably doing some YA Youth Authority, some juvie, and they finally charged him as an adult for something that he did. Little old Dequasie. Something that he did when he was 17. So this is a bad dude. This is a real street dude, okay? This is what they talking about when I'm a real street dude. I'm a real street dude. Yo, this Super Gremlin was on Demon Time.
In Georgia, and tonight he is behind bars accused of killing an innocent baby.
I now have to pick up his clothes and his toys and figure out how to move on with my life without hearing his smile and his laugh. He was just learning how to talk. He was just learning how to crawl. And I'll never get to see that.
Raw emotion on full display as the grieving mother of 6-month-old Grayson Fleming Gray returned to the spot where her beloved son took his final breath.
Wow. And it honestly, it looks like that baby was mixed with something. I thought the parents were black, but it looks like the baby was mixed with something. So she probably was pretty woke. And it looks like she ended up on the wrong side of town. And these Super Gremlins, I mean, they was doing what they was doing. And the baby got in the way. That's how they would explain it. Okay? So I'm just giving you a little insight into the mind of a Super Gremlin. I seen the dude. I was trying to get at him. Whatever. I started busting at him. He started busting at me. I spotted him. He spotted me. We going at it. We was doing what we was doing. And I don't even know why they was there. They shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have been there. That's the rationale.
Atlanta police say Grayson was shot and killed as he rode with his mother and her friend on Anderson Avenue Monday afternoon. Officers say 2 men were shooting at each other. Grayson was caught in the crossfire.
My son's blood is on your hands.
On Tuesday, the police chief and county's top prosecutor joined newly elected Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens at a news conference announcing the arrest of 22-year-old Dequasie Little. Police arrested Little in Decatur. Authorities believe he was the driver who fired the fatal shot, charging him with felony murder and aggravated assault.
He had the entire world in front of him, and because you couldn't resolve your issues with words, or you couldn't be the bigger person and walk away.
Well, you know a super gremlin's not finna be the bigger person, nor walk away. Okay? This is what you guys gotta understand. The best thing you can do is get far, far away from them, okay? Y'all see how these athletes and entertainers do? They get far away from super gremlins once they get something. Because they were a former super gremlin and they understand the mindset of a super gremlin, okay? So they understand that, hey, look, when I get this, I get that, I get this situation, I get that situation, I gotta get far away. And those who return meet an untimely demise.
We took a deep dive into Little's criminal history and learned that he is no stranger to law enforcement. In fact, we obtained an incident report filed with Atlanta police in 2019 that described a violent encounter between Little and a woman whom he used to date. In the report, his ex-girlfriend told police that when she told Little that she didn't want to be in a relationship with him anymore because her husband was coming home from prison, he...
Wow. Huh. So Dequasie, and this is crazy. This is crazy. Dequasie is smashing another convict's girl, and now he's coming from prison. Big Daddy coming from prison, and she trying to get rid of her little side piece, her little sneaky link. Okay? This is deep now. So Lil Dequasie get mad, and we gonna see what he did. But Lil Dequasie get mad, but you're in the wrong, brother. You sleeping with a married man's, you know what I mean? Girl, wife, whatever. And she's married to a dude in prison. Now, she's lucky to be alive, for one, dealing with Lil Dequasie. And then when her man come out of prison, he probably gonna beat the hell out of her. Who knows? Who knows? But it gives you the insight to a lot of these women, and it makes you understand that, hey, they're gonna deal with the Dequasies. They gonna deal with other dude, Prison Bay, all right? They gonna deal with these dudes. These dudes are not short of clapping some cheeks. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy that these dudes are able to eat like that. It really is. In and out of jail, in jail. Yeah, you getting cheated on, but what he don't know won't hurt him, right? But this story get out, she better start packing her bags, or he gonna be on her like Ike and Tina, for real.
2019 that described a violent encounter between Little and a woman whom he used to date. In the report, his ex-girlfriend told police that when she told Little that she didn't want to be in a relationship with him anymore because her husband was coming home from prison, he allegedly went on the attack, putting his hands around her neck and squeezing it until she could not breathe. She also claimed that while he was trying to strangle her, he repeatedly told her, "Me or death."
Wow. Wow. Come on, Dequasie. It's like that? Me or death? That's crazy. But a lot of these women, they like this kind of stuff. I'm not saying what he did was right, but a lot of these women, they dealing with this type of stuff. Now, she obviously was like, oh, she wasn't having it. She called the police and all that. Anybody who, you know, with a willing ear to listen, she telling them the story. Okay? But the fact that you dealing with this dude, he in and out of jail. You know he one of them little bad little kids, whatever. I mean, thank God she didn't have a baby with him, but she probably had a baby with another dude. You just creating more Dequasies.
After his arrest, court records showed that he struck a plea deal with prosecutors, resulting in 5 years probation and no time in prison.
Channel 2's Michael Seiding joining us live again now. Michael, you just talked about what happened nearly 3 years ago in that report. Is there anything else at this point that viewers watching now need to know about this guy's past?
Yeah, George, we went back to his criminal history. We found out that he was actually wanted on a robbery charge out of Peach County. He was supposed to show up in court. He did not, so a bench warrant was issued. So he was wanted down in Peach County. Of course, the pending case is here. Now, one more
figures.
Quick note, George, tremendous support coming from our viewers who have been donating to that GoFundMe. We also know that an Atlanta police sergeant, he is using his nonprofit to help cover some of those funeral expenses, any other costs that may come. Again, just such a tragedy for this family and the entire community. George?
Michael, so much reality to deal with now for that family, so any help is welcome. Thank
you. A break in the case of a 6-month-old baby shot and killed. Atlanta police make an arrest as the family mourns the senseless loss of Grayson Matthew Fleming Gray. That is where we begin tonight with live team coverage. Good evening. I'm Courtney Bryant.
And I'm Russ Spencer in for Tom Haynes. We are staying on top of this breaking story. Fox 5's Patty Penn spoke with Grayson's mother about the moment her baby was taken from her so violently. But we begin tonight with Deidre Dukes, who's joined us now live from Atlanta Police Headquarters, where police announced the arrest of a suspect less than 24 hours after that shooting.
And Deidre, could officers make any more arrests?
Well, Courtney, we were told during this afternoon's news conference that it is very early in the investigation, but more arrests are expected. Police say that they now have the man in custody who murdered that baby. We have learned that that man has a long, extensive criminal record. Less than 24 hours after 6-month-old Grayson was shot and killed, Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant announced the arrest of 22-year-old murder suspect Dequasie Jonathan Little.
I want this to be a message just not to him, but everyone that was involved on yesterday, that we are still early in this investigation. And anybody who think they will commit violence in our city, we coming at you with everything we got.
You think Dequasie will start rolling on people? You think Dequasie will start rolling on people? Let's see.
Several state and local law enforcement agencies assisted APD in apprehending the suspect, who was arrested in DeKalb County today. Little has an extensive criminal record. He was recently released from the Houston County Jail on battery and child cruelty charges. Is currently on probation on an aggravated...
Dang. I ain't know he was with the child cruelty charges too. Wow.
assault charge in Fulton County and is out on bond on a misdemeanor charge in Clayton County. He also has a case pending out of Peach County on a theft charge. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens praised APD's tireless efforts.
They worked 24 hours nonstop until they resolved this issue. And now a suspect is under arrest.
Grayson was fatally wounded at around 3 Monday afternoon on Anderson Avenue in northwest Atlanta when police say an altercation between two adults erupted in gunfire. A stray bullet struck the child who was riding in a car with his mother.
From yesterday when this happened until now, until this case is done in a court of law, we are working together hand in hand to make sure that incidents like this do not occur, and when they do occur, that people are brought to justice.
Chief Bryant said the public played a big role in helping catch Little. He said it will take that same commitment from the community as a whole, working with law enforcement to end the senseless violence.
I'm mad as hell that the incident occurred in the first place.
Me too. Me too, Chief. Me too, Chief Bryant. I'm mad too. We all mad. Everybody on this channel mad. That's why you gotta share these videos. Like the video. Click the subscribe button. Share and push the videos out there because we need more people mad. Because Black Lives Matter ain't gonna show up to this one. even though we got a mixed race, a racially ambiguous baby shot by a super gremlin. Oh no, they're not going to show up for this one.
We're in a place where violence in our major cities and throughout our country has gotten out of control. And it's the community that can have a hand in this. We are seeing too many instances where people don't know how to resolve a conflict.
Now the mayor echoing.
I think it's just super gremlins who don't know how to resolve a conflict. Everybody else is pretty good on resolving conflicts. It's the super gremlins who can't walk away without busting a gun.
The chief's remarks here this afternoon saying that the city is committed to working with churches, organizations, various other groups that work with youth to address these societal issues, some of the underlying issues that are causes for the violent crime that we've been seeing in our city recently. Now, my colleague Patty Pan has been talking to the victim's family and joined us live from the crime scene in Northwest Atlanta. Patty.
Yeah, Deidre, you know, just such a heartbreaking story to be telling our viewers about tonight. You know, anger really doesn't even begin to describe how Carrie Gray is feeling tonight. She's devastated that her baby boy is gone. And over what? Over something that had nothing to do with him.
Make better life choices, please. Because the rest of us can't live in a world where you get to be that selfish.
Man. And it's crazy that she's able to go on this interview and you know, give her thoughts and really relate herself. Obviously, she got the Grayson hoodie, which is a high school, but also the name of her child. So, man, it's a horrible thing, bro. It really is. But these super gremlins, they ain't going to get off of demon time unless they see that there's going to be a swift and comprehensive punishment for their actions.
Her son's favorite stuffed animal, Carrie Gray, had this to say to the people responsible for taking her baby boy, Grayson Matthew, from her.
He has a beautiful smile. He had a beautiful heart. He was very smart. He was very funny. And honestly, that's about all I can tell you, because that's about as much as I got to learn from him before he was taken from me.
Gray is angry, and she has every right to be. She'll never get to see her son grow up. The 6-month-old was shot and killed in the Dixie Hills neighborhood of Northwest Atlanta Monday afternoon. Gray says it all happened so fast.
I know I heard a noise. I pulled off to the side. I saw 2 cars speed past me, and when I pulled in, that's when I had seen the gun barrel, and next thing I know, I got out to check on my son, and he was slumped forward.
Gray tells us she was pulling into the food mart on Anderson Avenue when gunfire erupted.
Dang. And that food mart looked jank too, bruh. That is a rough spot. That's a rough spot.
She says she heard a noise and looked back to see her son.
It hit the trunk. So there was no shattered glass, there was no crying. It was instant. So we didn't feel anything, hear anything.
She wants those responsible to hear this.
You have ruined my future. You have taken my future away from me.
Now, I do want to mention that Grayson's death has really touched so many in this community, including the officers here at Zone 1 here in Northwest Atlanta. They were the first ones to respond to the scene. They actually have helped the family set up a GoFundMe page, and they've been talking to area cemeteries and funeral homes. And we understand all of Grayson's funeral services will be paid for. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight at 6. For now, that is the latest here outside Zone 1 in Northwest Atlanta. I'm Patty Pan, Fox 5 News.
Oh, Patty, our hearts go out to Carrie Gray and everyone who loved Grayson. It's just terrible. Thank you very much.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.